The mid-season trailer for Loki Season 2 just released, and it gives us a glimpse into what to expect from the 2 remaining episodes this season. First off, we see a great deal more spaghettification happening. So, if you're a fan of pasta, you're gonna love these last few episodes. Not only do we see multiple characters, possibly even multiple Victor Timeleys, become spaghettified while attempting to fix the loom, it also appears as though Mobius may go out into the gangway once again. Not only implied by Ouroboros saying that if Loki fails, Mobius will lose all his skin, just like he did in the previous episode, but by actually seeing Mobius once again out on the gangway attempting to fix the loom. As I also just said, there are more shots of Victor Timely as well, which means they try to conduct the same plan again, possibly many more times. Real quick though, if you're interested in seeing more discussions like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Much appreciated. My predictions for these next few episodes are that Loki is somehow going to be time-slipping after the TVA is destroyed. Whether that's because he is a being particularly displaced from time and space, especially since his temporal aura was extracted from the timeline in episode 1 to originally prevent his time-slipping from occurring. There is also the possibility that Loki may still have the time stone he grabbed from the TVA in season 1, and perhaps this will tie into how he is able to time-slip or travel through time in order to recruit former/future members of the TVA. Though of course with this, it's not certain whether or not Loki does still actually have the time stone, or whether or not that particular time stone would actually be able to do anything or have any effect in the grand scheme of the multiverse, considering that Infinity Stones are typically centralized to a particular universe. However, in What If, we have seen that the Infinity Stones can have power outside of their original universe. So, who knows? We now know for certain that the TVA is destroyed, or at the very least is going to be destroyed, though it does appear as though the MCU as we know it, and sometimes love it, won't be the same or even similar to what we have watched over the years if Loki is not able to fix the TVA and temporal loom. From the shots of the trailer, it looks like Loki is going to be the one who takes on a He Who Remains role and goes around on the timeline collecting people to create the TVA. What's interesting is that it's still not yet clear as to whether or not this is all a part of Kang's plan, or if Loki and everyone in the TVA actually royally screwed it up and Victor Timely wasn't supposed to get spaghettified. Though, even if Loki is able to walk out onto the gangway and fix the temporal loom himself, will he just be playing into the hands of He Who Remains? Into the hands of Kang the Conqueror? I see 2 primary possibilities occurring. As I do believe the TVA will be fixed in some way as is implied by the mid-season trailer, I wonder if Loki helping fix it and make the temporal loom more stable will actually assist in the creation of the Council of Kangs and the start of the Multiversal War. The Multiversal War has not yet occurred, and this is interesting to me considering the TVA is outside of time and space, and hence the Multiversal War probably should have already started and created mass incursions. However, that has not happened, so my first prediction about the endgame of the season is that Loki will make massive sacrifices to save the TVA and restore order to the timeline. Though we will learn this is what He Who Remains wanted all along, for Loki to recruit and create the TVA for him. As we have seen several times in the past, while Kang is incredibly selfish and self-centered, he often uses others to get his way, to build himself up. It would be quite fitting that He Who Remains knew all along that Loki was not only the one who would help end the TVA during mid-cycle, but also bring about its rebirth by recruiting and creating it all for He Who Remains in the first place. Wouldn't it be quite fitting for the line that Mobius said to Loki in Season 1 to come true?
You weren't born to be king, Loki. You were born to cause pain and suffering and death. That's how it is, that's how it was, that's how it will be. All so that others can achieve their best versions of themselves.
What if Loki thinks he wins by fixing the TVA and restoring the timeline, but has actually propped up Kang, who believes himself to be the hero of the multiverse? Perhaps even when Loki is trying to be heroic, he brings ruin. My second prediction is that Loki and the rest of the people in the TVA actually majorly messed up in the previous episode, and that they will continue to mess up every time that Loki attempts to save them. In the mid-season trailer, it looks like they make multiple attempts at retrofitting the temporal loom, each time having different people make the walk out to the loom, and Loki may be the one who makes the final walk to save them. I think that because Loki has evolved so much as a character, he doesn't want a throne, but I believe that role will be thrust upon him nonetheless, and that he will have to take on the role of He Who Remains, whether it was a part of Kang's plan or not. Loki is the one that is unstuck from time, and appears to be able to handle the temporal radiation better than anyone else due to his godlike status. While Loki no longer wishes to rule, he has already established that he has accepted he is a god, and that someone has to take responsibility for the timeline if people are to have free will. Loki will end up ruling over the TVA after saving it, a reluctant ruler at the end of time. I do think this could very well still be a part of Kang's plan to start the multiversal war though, as Loki sitting at the end of time watching over the TVA may simply allow for the Council of Kangs to run rampant, without the oversight of one of their variants. Obviously I don't have all the answers, but I just saw the mid-season trailer, and I'm so pumped for the end of this season. Loki is easily the best content Marvel has produced on Disney+, and I hope they start to figure out that the focus on characters and the major plot risks they have been taking in this show is exactly what fans have been wanting to see. Anyway, I've been Noctugal, peace out.